Hello, and welcome to this new section on developing technical skills and the first lecture of that in this course, Master in Business Analytics. So, in this section, we will give you a good in-depth view of how to develop technical skills. And we will begin by talking about that, what are the things you need to do, and then talk about how can you learn Python or R for data analysis and modeling. So, what do you think? What are the technical skills that you need to develop? So first thing what you need to do is to do the programming skills. And there you need to learn Python and R for data analysis and modeling. Then you need to learn about the database management, where you need to gain a proficiency in SQL to retrieve and manipulate data. Then learn about visualization tools, where you can use Tableau, Power BI, or Excel to create meaningful visual reports. And finally, some statistical tools where you understand things like hypothesis testing, regression analysis, and probability. Now, if I remember, we have covered these statistical tools like hypothesis testing, regression, and probability much earlier in descriptive analytics, if I remember right. Right. So we have already covered that. So we will not be talking about that as we go forward. So that's what we will. So we will talk about the three things: how to do Python and R, how to do SQL, and how to use Tableau, Power BI, and Excel. So how do you think you can learn Python and R for data analysis, modeling, and how can you develop these technical skills? Any thoughts? Needless to say, both Python and R are powerful tools for data analysis and modeling. They are very powerful tools in programming, and these programming tools, especially, are very useful for data analysis and modeling. Now, what are the things that you can do to learn these tools? Let's take a look at that as we go forward now. So, for Python, what you need to do is first need to understand that it is best for general purpose, programming and integrating with other tools. So it's a broader tool, and it is useful for integrating with other tools. And it is widely used for data analysis, machine learning, and web development as such. And there are popular libraries in this like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and PyTorch. Then in R compared to Python, it's specifically designed for statistical computing and data visualization. So it's a much narrower programming language that you can use for these two purposes specifically. It is best for exploratory data analysis and advanced statistical model. And the popular libraries are like ggplot2, dplyr, stidyr, caret, and shiny. So you need to decide. So these are the characteristics or outline or profile of both Python and R. And you need to decide between which language do you want to learn, Python or R, or you want to learn both. So that's the first step. So first step is to decide based on the characteristics which one language is more suitable for you. Now, then what you need to do is to install the required tools. For Python, you need to install Python, preferably version 3.x. Then you need to install Anaconda distribution recommended for data analysis. And then the tools to use that you need to install are like Jupyter Notebook, Integrated Development Environment IDE like VS Code, PyCharm, or Spider. So these are the important programs that you need to install. For R, you need to install R obviously, and then install RStudio IDE for development work, right? So these are the tools that you need to install. Then you learn the basics. You learn the basics of Python and R or Python and R, depending on which one you're choosing there. For Python basics, you need to learn the variables, the data types, and the control flow. Things like if, else, loops kind of a things. Then what are the functions and how do you handle files? And then you need to learn about the Python libraries like NumPy, where you can do numerical computations of through arrays, metrics, and operations. Then pandas, where you can do data manipulation with data frames, filtering, and aggregation. And then you need to learn, if you're going for R and or in addition to Python going for R, you need to learn about R basics. Now, what are these R basics? Data types again, the vectors, list, matrices, data frames, functions and control flows, and R libraries like DPLYR for data manipulation, for filtering, selecting, and mutating, and ggplot2 for data visualization. To learn further, you need to stay focused on data analysis, especially in Python, because it's a reasonably broad programming language and you can get lost in the learning entire Python somewhere. So stay focused on data analysis. And for that, you need to, in Python, look at pandas in data frame operations like filtering, grouping, merging, reshaping, handling missing data. And as an example, you can do things like, for data frame operations, you can import pandas SPD and then write the command that you see here to read the CSV file, right, in data frame. Then you also need to learn in Python matplotlib and seaborn for data visualization of line plots, bar charts, histograms, heat maps. And for example, this can be done by importing matplotlib pilot pyplot as PLT, then import seaborn as SNS, and then you plot the DF data that you got and you ask the program to show you the plot. So that's how you can focus on data analysis in Python. For R, you need to look at DPLYR, and in which you can do filtering, summarizing, and group data. And you see here an example of how to do that. You write the commands. So import the library DPLYR, then define the data frame, and that's how you can do that using DPLR in R. Second is ggplot2, where you can create visually appealing plots, and the commands as an illustration that is you can use is given as you can see here, a simple command. Then you can, once you have the basics under your belt, you can look at learning advanced modeling techniques. In Python, you can use scikit-learn, where you can build machine learning models like regression, classification, and clustering. And a simple command that you see here is to import the linear regression from a scikit.linear model library. Then you define the model as linear regression, and then you fit the model to your data that you have in training X and Y. Similarly, you can use TensorFlow and PyTorch for deep learning and neural networks. In R, you can use advanced models like Carrot for machine learning models, regression, classification, and clustering. And you see a simple command given here that you can use in R. You can use Shiny to build interactive dashboards and applications. So these are some advanced learning techniques that you can learn. Then you will need to work on the projects to get hands-on experience using real-life data sets from Kaggle and machine learning, UCI machine learning repository. And some of the example projects are like analyzing sales trends, predicting customer churn, creating a recommendation system, or visualizing COVID-19 data. So work on these projects and get hands-on experience. So once you have some hands-on experience, it's important to practice regularly. You can for Python, you can solve challenges on platforms like HackerRank or LeetCode. And for R, you can explore R exercises on R exercises. So like this, you need to practice regularly. Then you can also leverage online resources to stay updated. For Python, you can use these programs and courses that you see here, and same for R, where you have R for data science by Garrett and Hadley, and then there are advanced R for deeper knowledge, and there are courses. So like this, you can use these programs and online resources to keep learning. Join communities to stay connected and keep learning. So for Python, you can participate in Reddit's r.learnpython or Stack Overflow. For R, you can engage with R Studio community or R Help mailing list. So these are the communities that can be helpful for you to keep learning as you go forward. So what is next? So having looked at how to uh, develop your technical skills in Python and R, we will now look at how to gain proficiency in Excel to retrieve and manipulate data. So thank you so much for watching this first lecture on developing technical skills in this course, Master in Business Analytics. I hope you're continuing to learn new things, continuing to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need.